Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome back. As always, we're thrilled that you have joined us this morning. We've been talking about Elijah, and we kind of finished off the story of him with the prophets of Baal. And that's right, and then we talked about their God sleeping. Then we talked about how Elijah picked out, or God picked out Elisha. Yes, Elijah was running away too. We just crammed in a lot in these last few weeks of Elijah. So if you can pick up where we are now, Elijah is the prophet at the time, although Elisha is following him around and learning from him. And then we have King Ahab is still the king at this point. Yes, he is a bad king, and that is basically what we're going to talk about. So we start with King Ahab, though, traveling in his chariot. He is going about, and we will begin in verse 1 of 1 Kings 21. And it came to pass after these things that Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard, which was in Jezreel, hard by the palace of Ahab, king of Samaria. And Ahab spake unto Naboth, saying, Give me thy vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near unto my house, and I will give thee for it a better vineyard than it. Or if it seem good to thee, I will give thee the worth of it in money. So Ahab's riding along in his chariot. He's like, whoa, look at that vineyard. That's impressive. That's awesome. And he's like, I'm the king. I'm just going to go ask for it. I have all the money I need. I can buy that. So he goes to Naboth and he says, hey, you've got an awesome vineyard. Can I buy that from you? He says, I'll give you what it's worth in money. I'll trade you a vineyard. I'll give you a different one. So boys and girls, Naboth is faced with a decision. Is he going to give the king the land or not give the king the land? Well, in verse 3, it says, And Naboth said to Ahab, The Lord forbid it, that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto thee. So he says, no, okay, you're not going to get it. Verse 4, And Ahab came into his house, heavy and displeased, because of the word which Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him. So Ahab gets told no, and he goes home and he's upset. He's displeased. He's upset because somebody told him no. He's all upset because someone told him no. For he had said, I will not give thee the inheritance of my fathers. And he laid him down upon his bed and turned away his face and would eat no bread. Boys and girls, this is a grown man. This is the king of a country. He gets told no, and what does he do? He goes home. He throws himself on his bed. He turns away from everybody else, and he won't eat. Boys and girls, he's having a pity party. This grown man who's the king of a country is having a pity party. Wow. Every time I read that or think about that, I think he should have been spanked a few more times as a kid or something there, boys and girls. You at your ages, I'm pretty sure if you're watching, most of you already know that having a pity party is not a good idea. Okay, having a pity party is being selfish and saying that what you want is more important than the good of those around you. And if you've never had one, you might think about that, but if you've never displayed a pity party, okay, we've probably seen someone in a grocery store or somewhere else, in the toy store, in the pet shop, who wanted something, they got told no, and they threw a pity party. Okay, boys and girls, well, this is the king throwing this pity party. Verse 5, But Jezebel, his wife, came to him and said unto him, Why is thy spirit so sad that thou eatest no bread? So his wife comes and like, what's so wrong? What's so bad that you're having such an attitude, basically? But why aren't you eating? Verse 6, And he said unto her, Because I spake unto Naboth the Jezreelite, and said unto him, Give me thy vineyard for money, or else if it please thee, I will give thee another vineyard for it. And he answered, I will not give thee my vineyard. So he tells the story to his wife Jezebel. Well, I went and asked this guy for his vineyard. I told him I'd pay him for it. I told him I'd trade him one vineyard for another, and he said no. Boys and girls, is it okay to get told no? It sure is. Okay, the man wasn't dying. He wasn't starving to death. He didn't need this vineyard. He just thought it looked good and he wanted it. And now he's having a pity party about it. Well, his wife Jezebel in verse 7 says, And Jezebel his wife said unto him, Dost thou now govern the kingdom of Israel? Aren't you the king? Arise and eat bread, and let thine heart be merry. I will give thee the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. Says, go ahead, get up, be merry, be happy. I'm going to go ahead and give you that vineyard. So she comes up with a plan. Not a good plan, boys and girls, an evil plan. Verse 8, so she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal, and sent the letters unto the elders and to the nobles that were in his city, dwelling with Naboth. So she gets these letters, she gets this paper, and she writes letters, and then signs Ahab's name to it. She writes it as if she's Ahab the king. Sends it to the elders or the nobles in the city where Naboth lived. Well, what did these letters say? Okay, these letters told the nobles or the high up people that they're to fast. And then they're supposed to put Naboth in a fast, not eat. Thank you, Peter. They weren't allowed to eat, okay? And then they were supposed to put Naboth in a high place. Now, that wasn't to exalt him or to honor him. That was actually to discredit him, to say, you're the reason we have to fast. You're the problem. You're the trouble. So they're supposed to put him on a high place, kind of like taking him to court and basically discredit him. Verse 9, and she wrote in the letters, saying, proclaim a fast, and set Naboth on high among the people. Verse 10, and set 2 men, sons of Belial, before him, to bear witness against him, saying, thou didst blaspheme God and the king, and then carry him out and stone him, that he may die. So this is the letter that she wrote, and she said, all right, you're going to have 2 sons of Belial. Basically, when I looked it up, it was sons of worthlessness. These were people who were completely worthless. They're sons of wickedness. They're evil people. Okay, these evil people were supposed to go before the court. They're supposed to say that Naboth had blasphemed God and blasphemed the king and should be worthy of stoning to death. Boys and girls, over a vineyard. Not over something he needed, but something he wanted. So he's having a pity party. King Ahab's having a pity party. He's being selfish. He's so consumed with himself. He's not content with what he already has. He complains to his wife, and his wife writes a letter that's a death sentence for someone. Boys and girls, our sin far affects people around us. Thankfully, okay, the sins you've done at this point probably, Lord willing, have not caused the death of someone else. But boys and girls, our sin affects those around us. And sometimes we get so selfish that we can't see how selfish we are and how consumed we are with ourselves. Well, are they going to do it? Are the people going to believe those liars? Will Naboth get stoned? Will Ahab get the vineyard? What will happen to Jezebel for coming up with this wicked plan? If you've guessed it, I'm leaving you on a cliffhanger. Boys and girls, you're going to have to come back next week to find out what's going to happen. Will this evil plan be followed through, or will Naboth live? You're going to have to come back next week. But boys and girls, this week, don't have a pity party. Take time to thank God for what you have.